Eala falls to Gauff, bows out in Dubai quarterfinals. Filipina tennis sensation Alexandra Eala saw her impressive campaign at the Dubai Tennis Championships come to an end following a quarterfinal defeat to American star Coco Gauff. Gauff dominated early, unleashing powerful ground strokes and aggressive returns to blank Eala, 6-0, in the opening set. The American carried that momentum into the second frame, racing to a 4-0 advantage as Eala struggled to find her rhythm against Gauff's pace and precision. The Filipina netter, however, refused to fold. Eala mounted a brief fight back to narrow the gap to 4-2 in the second set, showing grit and composure under pressure. But Gauff quickly regained control, closing out the match in 1 hour and 7 minutes to secure her spot in the semifinals. Alex is a tough competitor. Even though I was up, I know she can come back like the way she did before, Gauff said after the match. With the victory, Gauff advances to the semifinals where she will face the winner between Ukraine's Elena Svitolina and Croatia's Antonia Ruzic. Despite the loss, Eala's quarterfinal finish marks another milestone in her rising career, reinforcing her status as one of the brightest young stars in women's tennis. The Rise and the Rift, Eala's Dubai story, a creative sport narrative. In sport, victories are celebrated like festivals, but sometimes losses become just as defining. They are mirrors that show us not only what can be, but what must be. In the dazzling desert courts of Dubai, the 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships gave the world a performance that was thrilling, humbling, and deeply human. A story of ambition, of courage, and of lessons learned on tennis' brightest stages. Late one night in February, under the glowing floodlights at the Aviation Club Tennis Center, a young Filipino warrior stepped onto court center, her eyes set on the next rung of the ladder. Alex Eala, the rising star from the Philippines, had already surged through rounds that many expected her to exit, and now stood toe-to-toe with one of the most formidable players on the women's tour, Coco Gauff. This was not just a tennis match. This was 20 years of dreams chasing the reality of elite sport. Earlier in the week, a Cinderella run. Before the quarterfinal drama unfolded, Eala had authored a remarkable narrative through the early rounds. Against higher-ranked opponents, she tapped into her trademark resilience. She dismantled Hailey Baptiste, seizing control in pressure moments. She stunned 2024 champ Jasmine Paolini, another ranked player who embodies experience and consistency. In a tightly contested contest against veteran Sorana Sastia, she displayed patience, clutch play, and composure, earning her a place in the quarterfinals and igniting Filipino and global fan support. Her run was more than just wins. It was raw narrative building, a filament of hope that connected every rally, every breakpoint, and every roar from the crowd. Center court collision, Eala versus Gauff. When the two met, the magnitude of the occasion was clear. For many fans across Asia and the tennis world, this was a passing of the torch moment. A rising star against one who already owns Grand Slam triumphs and countless battles on the biggest stages. Gauff, ranked world number 4, was an imposing figure, muscular, poised, and with tactical precision that belied her age. Eala, ranked around number 47, was the underdog with nothing to lose but everything to gain. And from the first serves, it became a tactical lesson as much as it was a physical one. Set 1, a lesson in dominance. The scoreboard quickly told a lopsided story, 0-6 in favor of Gauff. Eala was unable to find rhythm against Gauff's attacking game. The American pounded deep serves, sharpened her backhand, and didn't allow the Filipinos' returns to settle. It was more than numbers. It was a statement. The first set was about control, experience, aggressive precision, and strategic placement. Gauff dictated from the baseline and dominated with powerful first serves that kept Eala perpetually on the defensive. Set 2, sparks of fight. If the first set was a swift lesson, the second was where Eala found her voice. Trailing early again, she refused to fold. She steadied her serve, got on the board with a hold, and even broke back once, electrifying the crowd and showing her grit in the face of elite competition. But Gauff, unshaken, responded with force, reclaiming momentum and wrapping up the set 6-2. In total, the scoreboard read, Gauff d Eala, 6-0, 6-2. The match clock, just over 1 hour. More than the scoreline, the deeper story. At first glance, the result reads like a tactical mismatch, but anyone who followed the months and years of Eala's rise would see something far richer. 1. Growth on a global stage. Eala had never just arrived. She earned her place. Her wins in Dubai weren't accidental upsets. They were disciplined displays that signaled she belongs among tennis rising elite. Her quarterfinal appearance at this WTA 1000 event marked only her second time reaching this stage at such a tournament, following previous success in Miami. That's a marker not just of ability, but of trajectory. 2. A night of mixed emotions. For the crowd, this wasn't a sterile loss. It was a night where Eala showed heart, fought on every point, and gained the admiration of a broader fan base. Even Gauff acknowledged Eala's fighting spirit and praised the Filipino fans for their heart from the stands. That respect matters, not just in the moment, but in the narrative arc of young athletes breaking through. 3. The laning curve of elite sport. The gulf between Eala and Gauff in this match was real, but so was the lesson. Tennis carries brutal honesty, strategy, power, precision, and experience win at the top level. But resilience, adaptability, and belief are the bridges to closing that gap. Eala, on this night, demonstrated all three. What comes next? The aftertaste of defeat. Losses like this do not define a career. They sharpen it. Eala exits Dubai with reflections that will fuel training sessions, tour travel, and locker room strategy meetings. Contemporary champions don't reach the top by avoiding losses. They face them, dissect them, and build something durable from them. And make no mistake, at just 20 years old, she is still in that building phase. A career that will continue to grow with every match, whether in triumph or in setbacks. Legacy beyond a match. For Filipino tennis fans and sports lovers across Asia, Eala's week in Dubai was more than statistics and results. It was a symbol of aspiration, a young athlete brave enough to step onto center court, hungry enough to fight upsets, and bold enough to challenge the world's best. Under the bright lights of Dubai, she didn't just lose. She announced her arrival as a force worthy of the big stages. And in sport, that is sometimes the most meaningful victory of all. Post-match reflection. In her own words, later shared on social media, Eala described her Middle East swing as memorable, saying it was a privilege to compete with love and pride. Those words weren't about scorecards. They were about journey, growth, and gratitude, emotions that transcend a single performance. Final thoughts. The night that Eala bowed out of the Dubai quarterfinals was not an ending. It was a hinge upon which a story swings toward future opportunities, tougher,